The Trevor Carey Show on Power Talk 96.7 and AM 1400. Write it down.
He's a California Republican candidate for Attorney General, retired Judge Stephen Bailey. Judge, welcome back in.
Hey, thank you.
Good to have you back. Now, I know you're rooted down in a much cooler area than what you just strolled into. This is really our first hot day. Tell our Power Talk listeners, where are you from?
South Lake Tahoe.
Beautiful place, is it not?
It is absolutely beautiful.
Now, how long have you been?
But so is Fresno, by the way.
It's just as beautiful as South Lake Tahoe. I mean, our postcards are identical. The snow-capped peaks. Actually, Judge, there are days, I'm telling you, in the winter when the air quality's better, and you're up on the northeast part, kind of the west east part of the city there, and there's days when you can see those mountains right there, and I honestly feel like I'm in Littleton, Colorado, just outside of Denver, kind of that distance away from the mountains as it is there. Summer just blocks this great view of the Sierra.
It does. But there's a beauty in California that is unrivaled anywhere else in the United States.
We're like 6 different states.
We are.
As I drove to Arizona with my nephew, who's all he's ever seen of California since arriving a few months ago was Sacramento Airport to Fresno. That's all he's seen of California. So we went to Arizona, and we didn't even really get down to Southern California or the beach areas yet, but he got to see more of the valley, and then you get to Bakersfield, and you go through the Tehachapi Mountains. That all completely changes. Then you drop down to a desert, all within 1 hour almost. You're in 3 different topographies.
That's exactly right. That's the beauty of the state that we have.
Now, this state, the beauty, it is so ugly politically. I mean, the ugliness of the politics in this state. As Attorney General now, you're going to be replacing the X-Man, Mr. Becerra. How out of line has the X-Man gotten California, in your opinion, Judge?
Well, he's up to 32 lawsuits against the federal government in Washington. It seems like every single time there's a tweet out of Washington, he has to file another lawsuit. It's becoming ridiculous. It's as if he thought the taxpayer money was his own to go out and waste. It really is time for Californians to take this state back, and that's why I'm running for California Attorney General. It's our opportunity to take California back.
Judge, 32 lawsuits you bring up. How could he possibly have any time to be working on the problems of California? I mean, if you're going to file 32 lawsuits, that's about 10 full-time jobs, wouldn't it be?
I would think so. But with 1,100 lawyers for him to, send all over the place, apparently he doesn't think that it's really that important to be concerned about what the type of taxpayer money he's spending. So many of these lawsuits have just rank on the frivolous, and it's time for Californians to take a step back, look at the candidates that are running, and elect somebody that has experience for 8.5 years as a judge, for almost 19 years as a practicing lawyer, which is unique in this particular race, in that the X-Man has never practiced law in California to speak of. For 26 years he was inactive in this state. And finally, someone who has been in state government for 7.5 years in the Deukmejian administration, in a high-ranking position as deputy director of the State Department of Social Services, gave me the opportunity to see government from the inside, see what government does from the outside, and then be a judge focused on doing justice. And that's what I want to bring to the Attorney General's office.
Now, would you keep on retainer former U.S. Attorney General, Mr. Eric, I run guns to the cartels holder?
Absolutely not.
No, you're not a holder guy.
Not a holder guy.
You're not going to make us go to work to make taxes to pay to hire his law firm?
What a ridiculous thing for California to do. You would think that we would have at least one lawyer in California that could do the job that Eric Holder was hired to do. Apparently, we have 1,100 of them that had nothing to do.
Yeah, but what we look for, we needed to find a lawyer who had been held in contempt of Congress. That's something you look for on a resume, right?
I always look for that, yes.
Yeah, that's running guns to cartels. Yeah, that's also right there on the resume as well. That's that ugliness I'm talking about, this beautiful state. that they would do that. And also, I don't know how much the Attorney General was involved with this, but UCLA can't go play a certain team if they don't have their LGBTQs in order. States as well. California is just it's as if the state we live in thinks it's its own nation now, doesn't it?
Well, that's what they act like. Quite frankly, some of these, the legislature has actually gone over the deep end, and it's now time for us to take this state back. I mean, this is a great state. It has everything a person would want. One of the largest economies in the world, weather that rivals any place in the world. It has people that are great people and hardworking people, but we're taxing them to death. We're driving businesses out of this state. We've raised the gas tax to the point where, if they were fixing roads, that would be, one thing, but they're not. We have crime that's going up at double digits. We're the highest in homelessness in the country. We have a mental health system that's in near shambles. We're using our jails as our mental health lockups, which is the dumbest and most expensive thing that we could do. It's really time for those of us that live here in the state, who've grown up, who love this state, to take the state back.
And this is the time to do it. Conservatives don't buy into this. Oh, it's all going to be Democrats at the top, and that's all I'll have to vote for when I even go out. Get out a week from tonight, primary night. Judge, with this governor's race being so close, and Cox now polling second in some of these polls ahead of Tony Villar, Villarrigo, so whatever. But people that have to change their. He's not an entertainer. I can handle, if Ricky Ricardo changed his name from some name to Ricky Ricardo, but why would a politician need to change their name anyhow? But with this race being so close, it's going to get a lot more Republicans out, which are going to help Republicans, conservatives all the way down for every race here. In California, the Democrats are kind of freaking out a tad bit right now.
They certainly are, and they have good reason to. Republicans, conservatives, right-of-center citizens are motivated in this election. Unlike what you would read in the mainstream press, the motivation is really on the right-of-center. People who want to recapture California, bring it back to a sense of reality, to a sense that we're the ones that are being taken care of. We're the ones that have political leaders that are concerned about us. That's the key difference between Mr. Becerra and myself. I'm focused on what the needs of the average citizen, the guy who's going to work every day, the woman that's trying to make a living for her kids. I'm concerned about what life is like for them. I'm concerned that when they go home at night, they don't have to live in fear that somebody's going to be breaking into their home. But unlike my focus, the focus on the Democrats in Sacramento seems to be on, let's see how fast we can release them from prison. Let's decriminalize property crimes so that if somebody decides to break into your home or your garage or walk into your business and steal $949 worth of goods, no big deal. We make the criminals into victims now instead of those who have worked hard to get what they've got and then have it taken from them. Those are the victims that I want to stand up for, and that's why I've been endorsed by Crime Victims United. That's why I've been endorsed by Mike Reynolds of Three Strikes, Paulie Klass's dad, Mark Klass. That's why I've got the Los Angeles Police Protective League, which is the largest organization of first responders, the law enforcement professionals that every day put their life on the line in Los Angeles County or Los Angeles City for the citizens of Los Angeles that have all endorsed me for Attorney General.
There it is, California Republican candidate for Attorney General, retired Judge Stephen Bailey. Judge, California makes crime worth it. You always hear crime doesn't pay. Well, in California, it kind of does, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Crime does pay. Hey, kids, not a bad career line. As long as you stay in California, you can really make something of yourself with limited time in jail. Limited. It's the number one lawman in the state. In closing here, Judge, if you were Attorney General Bailey, what's the first thing you do?
the very first thing I'm going to do
set your desk up. I get all that. And put your family pictures up. But
I'll
past
tell you,
that, what would you do?
Before I've set my desk up, we're going to fire the people at the very top. Get them out of there. Because we're taking California in a different direction. If you want change, you want Judge Stephen Bailey. I am going to clear out the top echelon, and the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go into court to say to the judges that sanctuary state is unconstitutional. I do not believe in sanctuary state. It protects only criminals.
So as soon as Mrs. Bailey and family pictures go up, you're going to start firing some folks who have swamped out this state.
That's it.
That's it. Where do people go to know more about you or in this last week to get involved here?
Well, you can call the Republican headquarters here in Fresno. They've got call lists. You can be calling people. But if you want to find out,
right?
They've endorsed me, and you can go. As well as the California Republican Party endorsed me.
Okay.
I'm actually the first statewide candidate the party has ever endorsed in a statewide race. They just came up with rules this year, and they endorsed me. I'm very proud to have the party's endorsement. But if they want to know more about me, go to www.bailey4ag.com. That's BAILEYFORAG.com.
There it is. Bailey, BAILEYFORAG.com, BaileyForAG.com. Judge Stephen Bailey, thank you for your time and all those years you spent in the court throwing that gavel down, too. Appreciate it. Hey, do they have Culvers out here? Culvers? You ever heard of that, Jordan? Culvers? I've heard of them back east, but I haven't seen them out here in California. Guess what this guy found in his burger? Tease. I'll tell you next.